Morning. My name is Aryeh Rosenbaum. I'm a hospitalist at CPMC, and I think it's appropriate that we're talking about future state on a day when the sun is breaking through the clouds and it's supposed to be rainy. The future state essentially takes everything that we learned over the course of the week and puts it together to create standard processes for admission, the inpatient period, and discharge. In doing this, we create essentially minimum wait times for the patient. We eliminate all the waste that you've seen in all these maps. And most importantly, we maximize the value to the patient. So we started the decision to admit in our process. And by creating a standard process for admission, we allow for a timely transport to the floor for the patient, with the patient being accompanied by complete information and with the patient having an adequate person-to-person report so that care is passed seamlessly. Most importantly, the process eliminates duplication both outside the room and in the room from the perspective of the patient. Moving to the inpatient stay, we envision standard care maps which plot out the patient's course of hospitalization depending on diagnosis and physician care plan. These care maps will be interdisciplinary and will involve patient-centric scheduling rather than the scheduling we currently have, which is essentially in silos. Finally, we envisioned interdisciplinary charting to better facilitate communication between all the providers involved in the patient's care. The discharge process was envisioned as something that would begin at the time of admission with a targeted length of stay, and then continue throughout the hospitalization through the daily care maps, with patient and family education and home arrangements occurring throughout this time, so that on the day of discharge, essentially all that would be needed would be a brief review, perhaps a follow-up appointment in the doctor's office. But there would be a discharge appointment that would be scheduled so that the patient's time of discharge would be clear, and all of the discharge activities would have occurred before that day. Finally, we envision a standard process for follow-up phone calls after the patient goes home to review discharge instructions and to answer any questions. So if we look at the future state admission process alone, just by creating some standard processes around admission, you can see that the wait time is 20 minutes for the patient, whereas you had in the current state a 6-hour wait time for the patient. The percent value is 74%, whereas right now it's about 8%. So really large improvements. And essentially what we're describing here is the entire flow of the patient throughout the hospitalization. So the perfect measure for this process change is length of stay. And we felt that in our target unit, by April 2011, process change like this could potentially decrease the length of stay by half a day.